Everyone said the devil works hard, but just know Eddie Hearn works even fucking harder. He tried his hardest to make sure this fight happened.
I ain't mad at Conor Benn. Hey, he just got cheated. It's only cheating when you get caught. I'm just saying. Hey, I'm just saying. I'm a big ass motherfucker. You trying to fight? I hit the roids real quick too.
Man, I thought that boy Conor fucking was a dog, bruh. Failed me, man. Boy's a juicer. A fucking juicer.
Passing out the medicines. We've been on that rock star regimen, knowing that I'm heaven sent, higher than I ever been. I got a problem with.
What's going on, you boys? Welcome to Totally Blitz Podcast. This is the motherfucking Fight Club. Today we're talking what could have been with Chris Eubank versus Conor Benn. But before we get into all of that, go down, like, and subscribe. And as always, these are the hosts for the show. I'm Paul, Pickle Winham Concho with the shot. Who's with me?
Man, you already know it's your boy Kev. Water voice, boy, man. Hey, it's the boy on the screen, and you better respect when you motherfucking see me, because my schedule getting busy. I'm not gonna be at all these shits. But hey, we here today. We talking about the shit that could have motherfucking happened.
Going on, boys, man. It's prime time, Marcus, man. We back at it. I think we missed a week of boxing, but we back at it, man.
Boxing missed a week of us.
Yeah, facts.
Shout out that nigga Ian. That boy came through.
Boy came through.
Yeah, he did.
I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I ain't mad at Conor Benn. Hey, he just got cheated. It's only cheating when you get caught. I'm just saying. Hey, I'm just saying. Hey, that's a big ass motherfucker you trying to fight. I hit the roids real quick too. That's just me though.
But everyone said the devil works hard, but just know Eddie Hearn works even fucking harder. He tried his hardest to make sure this fight happened.
Man, I thought that boy Conor fucking was a dog, bruh. Failed me, man. Boy's a juicer. A fucking juicer.
Hey man, not all dogs drink water. Sometimes you gotta hit the juice for a time. You know what I'm saying? Little pick me up.
But
left.
We had this was gonna be sold out within 5 minutes when it was announced. The Born Rivals. They had a whole BBC documentary ready to air. And then, yeah, but they had a whole documentary, bro, about this whole 30-year build up and all this shit. And then they took it off the broadcasting over there because Conor Benn, the juicer.
Hey, he left that part of the documentary out. Hey, but I mean, I understand cheating. Like when it comes to juicing and stuff like that, the only people I think was okay was the baseball dudes. I feel like we should bring juice back to baseball.
Make baseball great again.
That's what I'm saying. But I talked to my boxing source, you feel me? Hopefully I can start getting him on the podcast soon. I was talking about boxing source, but he was like, the nigga ate like Queensberries or some shit like that. Does anybody looked in exactly what he
I got it for you. 1 sec. I tell you the exact thing it was. He took a certain clomiphene, which is it's a testosterone booster, and not only is it a booster, but it's supposed to leave your system pretty quickly as well. So it's assumed that he was using it all throughout training camp, and then he thought it would probably leave his system before the piss sample, but it was still there. And a whole bunch of people were like, "Oh well, the A side came back that way. The B side, what about the B side? It's the same piss. He pissed in one cup, and then they poured half of that into another cup, and that's A and B. So like you're waiting for the same results. Like I don't know.
Man, that shit sucks, bro. Cause that shit, he's not gonna get away from this. No matter what the fuck he does, he could go win a belt and knock out fucking Eubank. Man, people are gonna fucking stay bringing this shit up, no matter what. Just like they do with Canelo with the fucking tainted meat. Like everyone's gonna bring this shit up for sure.
Canelo tainted meat. I feel like a nigga breast passed me with that story one time.
Oh, but I know you have.
I look at the shit like, I don't know how does this happen? Not often, but does this happen every once in a while? A pretty good motherfucker gets caught juicing on a good fight day.
Yeah, it happens here and there. I mean, not like OD, but yeah, it happens in the sport.
So my thing is, do you think that So this comes to the question, like, bro, was Eubanks was coming down from 168, correct? And and Ben was coming up from 147 to me in the middle, correct? So you think technically so he can make sure that he has that extra weight on him, so you make sure he has that it's muscle while he's cutting weight type shit. But I'm just trying to look in his mindset, like, yo, what am I going? Why am I about to set up to fight one of the biggest money fights that'll probably come to that'll be in my career, motherfucking. I could just stay in my own division. Like I'm trying to think, what's in the boxer's head to take steroids? What do you guys think was going through his mind?
I can't speak on too much on him. I just know a lot of people like Sonny Edwards. There were some other boxers who were coming out saying like all the motherfuckers over there in England are juicing up. And he was just saying like they don't juice up for a fight, but they try to do this thing. Like I was saying, they try to take these things that go away quick. So they'll use them throughout training camp. And then they think like, okay, by the time it happens. And then the one thing that had me, like at first I would throw that out the window, like, oh, he's Sonny Edwards and they were just talking shit. But then they're like, well, why else do you think Chris Eubank Jr.'s promoter was so okay with like, okay, let's have the fight continue? And it was like, because this is more commonplace than what some people might think it is. He was like, because like so when he threw that in there, I was like, that does sound kind of true, but I mean, I don't know how common it is. I just know like fucking Eddie Hearn was singing a different tune this time around because VADA is the test sample that they were using, and that's the one that busted them. VADA is like the best drug testing agency in the world, blah, 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 blah. Back during the Canelo fight, when Canelo got busted by VADA, Eddie Hearn was just like, oh yeah, like because the fight still happened. And he was like, why even have VADA test if their test sample comes back positive for steroids? You're not even going to use it. It don't make sense. They're a cheater. And then when this fight happened, he was like, we're going to try our best to make sure this fight still happens. The VADA is, we're going to go through you. He was like, I'm going to go through a separate source. VADA is untrustworthy. Like his whole tune was a lot of different than like this time around.
Boy, Eddie Hearn, man. That shit look bad on him.
I'm telling you, I'm not an Eddie Hearn fan. Like the little things like this be facts. Like
that's why I say he worked harder than the devil, bro.
What was Eddie Hearn running around doing? Does anybody speak on that?
Oh yeah, no. The only reason I found out about all of this is because of Twitter. Like the moment Eddie Hearn spoke on, oh, we're gonna like this is bullshit. He's not even like when he was defending Ben, everybody in like the comments will let you know. The threads underneath are like, you remember when you said this? Remember when you said this? Remember when you said this?
They hit him with the this you.
This you, and like whole video clip and all in 4K. Frank Warren even called his ass out. And Frank Warren, like one of the biggest British boxing fans there is, was just like, yeah, if this was under my commission, I wouldn't have the fight happen just because what if somebody gets hurt? Like if like the what if, like now you're getting sued, now you look like you're being like, it is to bring such a bad look on you. I was like, I don't like Frank Warren, but damn, that motherfucker spitting.
No cap. As a fan, I can understand why you would sit there and think like, yo, I want this fight to still happen. But as a professional, it's kind of terrible. But what you were just gonna say, Marcus?
I was just gonna say how from the beginning of this fight making, bro, this shit has been sloppy from the jump. Cause they had problems talking about which weight they was even gonna fight at. Cause like you said, Eubank was coming down from 168. Ben had to come up from 147. Like they already had it was so much like negotiating to even land on a weight to fight at, which was I think what 157.
Yeah, and the whole draining of like the how much Eubank is allowed to how much is he allowed to rehydrate?
Yeah, and so like all that shit was already messy, and so like to throw this into play, shit's just gonna keep getting messier, bro. Because they talking about it's postponed, the fight's still gonna happen eventually, and all this shit. Like that shit's ugly, bro. And like Eubank, bro, is older. Like he's like 32. Conor Benn's still like in his like younger
26.
Yeah, so like he's still in like the prime of his career. I think Eubank is gonna be like seeing his way out of the game soon. So I mean, I don't know how that shit gonna go.
And me and Marcus spoke on this before. Like Eubank, he lost to Billy Joe Saunders when he went up for a belt. He's won the British belt, he's won like interim belts, but every time he gets to that cusp of like world title, he's not that fighter. Like,
I think his peak is a 3-4 rank type of guy.
Yeah, and then Conor Benn was like a young kind of dog that's like kind of putting his name in the contendership at 147, and a lot of people also don't respect his contendership because he's beating people that are like in their coming out of retirement type of fighters. And this would have been their biggest fight. Like all the money was like, there's a reason why they were okay with fighting out of their weight classes, because they knew they were not world title holder fighters. So this would have been their big payday right here.
I think that's an easy fight for Eubank to take. I think just because Ben's a smaller fighter, Eubank is the vet. You're gonna get another big payday without fighting for a belt or whatever. So that's an easy fight for him. That's pretty ballsy for Conor Benn, but that boy believes in his tongue. He can take him out.
He believes in the juice.
Hey, I guess that's my bad. I forgot about that. Man, you know what's crazy? I be watching this boy Ben on YouTube. Like, he got a YouTube channel. I fuck with that shit. Like, he be constantly posting training videos, and I just he be grinding
because he got busted at like noon, and then they still had the public training day at like 2:30, and he pulled up at 2:30 claiming his innocence.
Yeah, I seen that shit.
Like, oh, like I'm not banned, and like I've been clean as a whistle and all that stuff. And then he claimed that he spoke with Eubank Jr. when it happened, and Eubank Jr. showed up at like 3:00, and was like, "We've never spoke. He's talking out his ass." I don't know, like it's got messy.
Yeah, that shit, that just sounded like someone that got caught. It is what it is, man. Hopefully them boys, or at least Ben, bounce back. Cause I like how Ben fights. The boy's aggressive and got that like Sean Porter almost in him.
Well, I know that you've been keeping up, but I'm going to ask you, because there's been talk, now that he's known for his PED use, people are saying like 2 years ago, he was getting knocked down by French journeymen who shouldn't be boxing. And then next thing you know, within a year, he's a title contendership. People are like, does it maybe like, they were like, I'm just saying what some people on Twitter are saying, like, oh, maybe he's been doing it. There's a reason why the sudden growth in his skills.
No, I mean, definitely. I mean, we'll never really know. I mean, there's no way to prove it either, but shit, definitely a possibility. And boy went on a tear out of nowhere. Shit, he's aggressive.
That's the other thing. Like, I'm literally looking at the picture of the poster, and Eubank is chilling, and then you see Conor Benn like a pit bull.
If you look at Conor Benn's like interview, or like if you go on the Matchroom YouTube channel and look at the face off, and them boys are like rapping into each other in the room, bro. Conor Benn looks like a demon, bro. It looks like he's ready to come out of his fucking skin and eat you or some shit. That boy look like a demon.
Yeah, they said that he was more brash and aggressive, and Eubank has been more of the classy. He'll have like a swift, funny, like a jab, but he's not really saying anything too over the top. Yeah. And they're saying it's just, I wasn't a fan of boxing until recently, but they're saying that Conor Benn's dad was the same way. He was very like aggressive, and Eubank's dad was also very like professional talker.
Eubank's dad's like, I don't even know how to explain them. I watched the first two fights, or not the full fights, but like I watched like the highlights of the first two fights. The first one, them boys was banging. The dad and both the dads, bro, that shit was crazy. And then the second fight, I think they had a draw. The first one, Eubank fucking knocked his ass out, or TKO.
Well, I feel like we've covered everything about the what ifs and all the drama and all that. Like, we don't have to make a pick or anything, but how did y'all think the fight would go? Like, I know it's postponed, but like, how, like, were you riding for Ben? Were you riding for Eubank? Like, going into it, none of us have really spoke to each other about that.
Personally, when it comes to their fighting styles, I didn't peep too much, because by the time I really was about to start looking at the closer looks, it's like, that's when I find out no fight PEDs. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like, literally, the way I found this out was crazy. So I literally ran into my boxing source at school. He actually watches the show. Shout out, I really want to get bro on the show. But I was like, yo, bro, you ready for the fight this weekend? Eubanks Jr. versus motherfucking Ben, dog. This one, oh shit. Nigga talking about Bro, the shit just got canceled. The shit got canceled. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, bro, I was literally just talking to my co-host about this yesterday. Bro, it got canceled like 20 minutes ago. I was like, bro, how'd you know that fast?
Yeah, Kev called me and was like, yo, the fight's gonna cancel. I was like, motherfucker, you don't check the group chat? I texted that like 10 minutes ago. They got canceled. I woke up first thing on Twitter, PEDs. I was like, oh, motherfucker.
No. And then they said the fight was on, and then they fucking called it off again.
That's what I'm saying. The promoter, bro, Eddie Hearn works hard. He was willing to go to a different a whole different board of director of boxing. He was about to go to a different drug testing agency. If he got this fight would be going
that fight was gonna make money. Just the way the family name, some pawn boys, you know how it be over there. Them boys was gonna go get deep at that arena.
Facts. But personally, I thought Eubank Jr. was gonna knock him out just because that's a lot of weight. This man is even if he has the rehydration stuff, that's a lot of weight in between. That power. There's a reason why boxing classes jump 3 or 4 pounds, because that 4-pound difference is really a big deal.
Facts.
Let alone 15-pound difference here.
Facts.
Nah,
I was pulling for Ben, but it's just gonna be rough because dude is coming up 2 weight classes. But I was pulling for Ben just because he's the younger fighter. He's more technically sound. I feel like when you watch his when in ring work, Eubank is kind of unorthodox almost, and he just, I don't know. He be throwing looping fucking uppercuts, leading uppercuts and shit. But I don't know. I thought Ben was gonna get in there. It was gonna be a fucking high active first 2-3 rounds. I think them boys was gonna go at it, but I think Ben would have pulled it out. Maybe in late round TKO or something.
Hey.
Just the older fighter gets tired.
Even at 60%, my boy would have came through.
That's crazy.
My boy would be at 150.
Yeah, he would have been on the moon.
That's crazy. So it sounds like y'all boys was kind of split. You ain't know. So on the tiebreaker, I guess if this fight does happen, we'll see who I got.
All right. I feel like that's a great way for us to transition out. But this has been another great episode of Totally Blitz Podcast. This is the Fight Club. We're hitting the bowls. We're taking our sips. We'll be back, hopefully. They were born rivals, so the bad blood's not going anywhere. Hopefully, Eddie Hearn makes sure the fight don't go anywhere. But this has been Totally Blitz Podcast. I'm Paul Pickle Winham Concha. I was with Kev, Waterboy Savoy, Marcus, PT, Primetime, FSU, Penley. And this is this has been Totally Blitz Podcast, you bitch.
I'm quick, being problematic. Get the light beam on me, ready for electrostatic. Don't you step into this box if you're not batting. Then my gang got tools, you can call them boy crap, man. This gang got rules, man. You better watch your passes. This ain't